Hi, Mustangs. This is Mr. Greenwood. Welcome back. And today we're going to be talking about factoring again and using the split the middle method. Okay? And we're going to be factoring trinomial expressions where our a value is 1. Okay? So the goal in this lesson is to convert a quadratic that is in standard form to factored form. Okay? So here's our standard form again, ax squared plus bx plus c. And we want to transform it to factored form where we have x plus some number times x plus some number. And again, in these examples today, the a coefficient is always going to be 1. Okay, so last week, we saw expressions like this. We had x squared plus 4x minus 4. And we were able to group terms and then factor. Okay, so we grouped the first two terms together and grouped the second two terms together. And then we factored out the GCF of each of the two sets of parentheses. And then we put our GCFs together and we were left with our factored form. Okay. So last week, this idea of splitting the middle was already done for us. Okay. Now we're going to learn how to do that for ourselves. Here's example number 1 that we're going to look at. We have x squared plus 9x plus 20. It's in standard form. We want to get it into factored form. Okay, so step number 1, we are going to multiply the a value times the c value. Okay, and just to make sure, since our a value is going to be right here, and since there's no coefficient there, we understand it to be 1. Okay, then the 20 is our c value. Okay, so we're going to multiply those two things together. Okay, and of course, 1 times 20 gives us 20. Okay, that's step number 1. Step number 2, we're going to list the pairs of factors of this 20. Okay, so you can see down here I have 1 times 20 would give us 20, 2 times 10 would give us 20, and 4 times 5 would give us 20. Okay, so we've listed the pairs of those factors. Okay, step number 3. Okay, step number 3. We want to determine which pair can combine or combine these like terms combine to get the b value. Okay, combine to get this 9 here. Well, combining 1 and 20 is going to give us 21. Combining 2 and 10 will give us 12. But, oh, here we go. 4 and 5 combined will give us 9. Okay, so those are the two factors that we're interested in. Okay, the 4 and the 5 here. Okay, so what are we going to do with that? Well, step number 4, we are going to rewrite our original expression with the 9x being split into these two factors, the 4 and the 5. So that's going to now be a 4x and a 5x that we'll have instead of this 9x. Okay, so our new expression is going to be x squared plus 4x plus 5x plus 20. Okay, so this 9x was replaced with the 4x and the 5x. And it's still the same expression, right? Because 4x plus 5x is indeed 9x. Okay. Next step. Now, okay, now that it's in the form that we've seen before, okay, just like last week, now we can go ahead and group and factor like we did. Okay, so grouping the first two terms together, the x squared and the 4x, okay, we're looking for something that we can divide both of these terms by. And that's, in this case, it's going to be just x. Okay, so that gets pulled out. Well, when we divide both of these terms by that x squared divided by x will leave us with x. And 4x divided by x will leave us with 4. All right, so the left side is taken care of. Now the right set of parentheses. Okay, we have a 5x and a 20. Well, what can we divide both of those terms by? Well, it looks like we could divide both of them by 5. So that's what we pull outside. We're going to have a 5 out here. And then inside of our parentheses, a 5x divided by 5 leaves us with just x. And 20 divided by 5 leaves us with 4. Okay? And we're in good shape because our two parentheses have the exact same thing inside them, x plus 4. So finally, let's clean it up. We have the x as a GCF, and we have the 5, the plus 5, as a GCF. Okay, so that's going to go in a set of parentheses on its own, x plus 5. And the other set of parentheses will be the x plus 4 that we got. Okay, so x plus 4. And that is now in factored form. Okay. All right, so just to check though, what we can do is to make sure that this is correct, we can distribute back. Okay, x times the x times the 4, 5 times the x, 5 times the 4, and we should get right back to x squared plus 9x plus 20. Okay, and you will see that if you do multiply that and distribute, you'll get x squared plus 5x plus 4x plus 20. Okay, so this is what we got here. And then if we were to combine like terms here, we can combine the 5x and the 4x, and we do get x squared plus 9x plus 20. And we're good. Okay. So if you need to stop the video and rewind at any point, now would be a good time to do that before we head into the next example. Okay, example number 2. Okay, we have x squared minus 4x minus 12. Okay, step number 1 said that we had to multiply the a and the c values. Okay, so our a value is a 1. So 1 times negative 12 gives us negative 12 here. Okay, so that was step 1. Step number 2, we're going to list the pairs of factors of negative 12. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about the signs of the numbers just yet. Okay, so I'm just going to worry about what two numbers would multiply to 12. Okay, so 1 times 12 would give us 12, 2 times 6 would give us 12, and 3 times 4 would give us 12. Okay. But we actually do have a negative 12 here. So what we want to do is we want to determine which pair of factors can combine to get the b value. And in this case, our b value is a negative 4. Okay. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to give the correct signs to the pair values, okay, so that we can actually get a negative 4 if we combine them. And as you can see, a positive 2 combined with a negative 6 will actually give us then a negative 4. Okay, so the positive 2 and the negative 6 are what we're going to use here. Okay, we had to provide the signs here to make sure that we got a negative 4. Okay, next step. Okay. We're going to rewrite our expression, okay, using the positive 2 and the negative 6, okay, in that expression. So we're going to have x squared plus 2x minus 6x minus 12. This positive 2x and negative 6x replaced the negative 4x here. Okay. All right, so we're in good shape here. We now have an expression that looks familiar to us again. We're going to group and factor. Okay, so we're going to group those two together, and we're going to group those two together. Okay. So what can we divide both of these terms by? Okay, and in this case, it's going to be a single x. Okay, so we're going to pull that out. That's going to be our GCF. And what goes inside the parentheses? Okay, x squared divided by x gives us x. 2x divided by x gives us 2. Okay. Second set of parentheses. Now remember, when we factor something out, okay, what we're trying to have left in the parentheses is going to be this x plus 2 again, right? We want to have the same thing in the parentheses. All right, so what we're going to want to divide by in this case then is a negative 6. Okay, a negative 6. Okay? And that's because when we divide by a negative 6, negative 6x divided by a negative 6 leaves us with a positive x, and a negative 12 divided by a negative 6 leaves us with a positive 2. Okay? And therefore, we have x plus 2, and we have x plus 2 in parentheses. We need the same thing in parentheses. Okay, and then finally, we're going to put our two GCFs together in a set of parentheses, x minus 6, and then our x plus 2. Okay? And that does it. That is changing from standard form to factored form using the split the middle method. Okay, you guys rewind the video as many times as you need to, look back again, and then give your assignment for this week a try. Okay, good luck, and make sure you check with your teachers if you have questions. Take care. Bye-bye.